Children of Standard 4, we have been revising our chapter 1 and we have seen photosynthesis, the structure of a leaf, and we saw that what are the raw materials that are required for the process of photosynthesis. We saw that the food that is made by the plant is glucose that is stored in the form of starch, and many parts of the plant can store this food, and we normally eat the root part and stem part and the flower part of the plant because they store starch in them. So after that, we saw in our previous classes, we talked a lot about some amazingly different organisms. So what are they? So they are different organisms. You can see the plants, they are living in different environments. So they have the different kinds of adaptability in them to survive in different environment. So they are capable, they are making themselves adapted for the situation and for the environment in which they are surviving. So first, let us take an example of a cactus. All of us see cactus. The deserts are the areas of land where they are found. It receives very little rainfall, or you can say the no rainfall, and the temperature during the day is very high. It is hot, dry and sandy in deserts. Due to the low rainfall, very small amount of water is available in the deserts. So the water is present deep under the ground. Due to the scarcity of water in deserts, only few plants grow there. And the desert plants are called xerophytes. So they have adapted themselves to obtain water from the ground and also minimize water loss from their body parts. So what are these adaptability? Let us have a look. A cactus plant that is found in desert shows the many adaptations towards that desert atmosphere. So they have the very succulent stem, means fleshy, juicy, you can say, because the stems store a lot of water. And the leaves of the cactus plant are modified into spines, thin and sharp spines, which prevent the loss of water through transpiration. So what this transpiration is? The transpiration is the process by which water is lost through the stomata of the leaves. So children, you know, if the plant is losing water content from its body through the leaves, then the desert condition where there is very scanty rainfall, the plant will face the scarcity of water inside them. And all of us know that the water is required part for the plant because it transports nutrients in all over the plant. So what about the roots? The roots of the cactus plant grow very deep into the ground and spread out wide to absorb as much water as possible from the ground. So you can see the leaves are modified into spines, the stems are storing water, conserving water, and the leaves, when modified into spines, it conserve water by not losing water through transpiration, and roots are going deep inside the soil to fetch water for the plant. So these are the adaptability you can see in the plant that is called cactus. So let us have a look on the mushroom. So mushroom is a non-green plant. So mushroom, there are certain non-green plants that do not have chlorophyll. Thus, these plants cannot prepare their own food. These plants depend on dead and decaying plants and animals for food. So if we saw in our textbook an activity, so what the activity to grow mold, that is a fungus. So if we take a slice of bread and if we moisten it with water and place the bread in a dish and keep it in a warm place for a few days, after a few days we can see some cottony greenish growth on the slice of the bread. It is a type of fungus and you can say bread mold. So bread that has mold is harmful and should not be eaten by us. So can you, do you think when the mushroom or the non-green plants are not having chlorophyll, so where does they get their food? So they get or absorb food from the other sources such as soil and green plants. So mushroom and bracket fungi are some examples of non-green plants that are commonly found around us. And mushroom have very thin root-like structure that go deep into the soil, and these structures help them to absorb food from the soil. So, and fungi is non-green plant. They are not having chlorophyll to fetch sunlight to make food. So they are saprophytic plant. They are always dependent on dead and decaying organic substance for their survival. And now insectivorous plants. We discussed yesterday about the insectivorous plants. Some plants attract, capture, kill and digest insects. Such plants are known as insectivorous plants, or you can say carnivorous plants. So Venus flytrap and pitcher plant, sundew plant are the examples of insectivorous plants. In a pitcher plant, the leaf is shaped like a pitcher with a small lid, and the pitcher is brightly colored to attract the insect. When an insect enters the pitcher, it slips and falls into the juice below the pitcher. This traps the insect inside, and digestive juices inside the pitcher digest the insects. So the insectivorous plants normally grow in the soil where the nutrients are very less than their requirements. To fulfill their nutritional need, they eat insects.